Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Four Star Chicago Sports. This is the Barely There podcast, and the Bears are going streaking. Is it the beginning of a new era? We're going to talk about it right after this.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars aligned. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot down heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the Southside parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back. And welcome to the show, Kyle. It's not Victory Monday, but it's still a victory day. It's Victory Wednesday. And we're back to back. We're back to back champs. I love it. What's going on, Phil, man? Nice. Thanks for joining us. Wish you were there. We had a packed house at River Street on Monday. It was an amazing time. And of course, the Bears won. Towards the end of the show, we'll fire up a little video and we'll go from there. But how you doing today, Kyle? How we living?
Doing good, man. Sean, 3 in a row is officially a streak. We are on a win streak. When's the last time the Bears fans could say that?
You know, I was actually just trying to I forgot, and I was going to do this morning. I can't remember the last time the Bears won back-to-back road games, but also had a 3-game winning streak. So all that combined, we have what we considered. It doesn't start to look like we're reacting to a fluke. It's kind of a shift in culture, execution, belief, coaching, identity as a team, as a roster. You know, this team. You know, this stretch is like the foundation, it feels like, of a new era, because I'll tell you, the one thing on Monday that made me feel really good was, you know, the Bears got up. We're all watching them get up 13-0. And then they just scored 16 straight points, 17 straight points, and the Bears got behind, something like that. Mm-hmm. But adversity didn't kill this team. They bounced back. They figured out a way. As the coach said in the locker room, they stayed the course. They stayed even keel. And that's just something that we haven't been used to over the last bunch of years here, whether it was Eberflus, Fox, Nagy. It was just something that you never felt, and we're going to start to believe, I think, going forward, that we're in games and we have a chance in these games. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm starting to get that belief a little bit.
Yeah, you know what, Sean? There's really no such thing as a bad win. I know a lot of people talk about, the Bears have been lucky the last few weeks. The Bears just at the end of the day, man, it doesn't. Winning in the NFL is difficult, and I'm talking about even against the bottom tier teams. Finding a win in the NFL is not easy to do. So the fact that the Bears have pulled out both of these games in rather spectacular fashion, obviously both games won by special teams, one a blocked field goal, one a field goal. That means whatever Ben Johnson is selling, the Bears are buying it, man. I mean, if Matt Eberflus, if these 2 games took place last year, we lose both of them under Matt Eberflus. No question in my mind that we would lose both of these games, not a doubt. I mean, Sean, think about it. This Commanders game was very similar to last year's game.
Yeah, it was.
The only difference is Ben Johnson knows how to manage a clock, and he made sure when the Bears kicked that field goal, there was 0-0-0 left on the clock. That was the difference. But I mean, the Bears look like they're a competitive football team. They obviously are still making a ton of mistakes. They're shooting themselves in the foot too often, too many negative plays. But if they continue to grow and continue to get better and start to clean up some of these mistakes, Sean, you're talking about a very dangerous team in the NFL.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. and as we keep saying this, you know, we've always talked about enjoying the ride, man. It feels like it's turning into something real, and it feels like when you listen to Ben, and Ben says, "Hey, we know where we are, and we're going to be playing our best football by December." It's certainly starting to track that way, and honestly, I think they're playing a little bit better than what people actually think they are. When you start watching these players, they're like, oh, it's 25-24. They struggled here, they struggled there. But, man, when you start breaking down what's happening with the development of this offensive line, the development of a couple players that we're going to talk about here on this defensive line, including one number 95, who I was noticing during that game on Monday, him popping off the screen. It might not have showed
two tackles.
Stat sheets. What's that?
2 tackles for loss, man.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't like an overly impressive performance for Mr. Turner, but he was noticeable. And the one thing that you noticed, he didn't play D tackle. He was standing up and playing edge, something that we talked about, something that we'd like to see. He got 22 snaps, and all 22 snaps came from the D edge. He had 2 tackles for loss, but he showed 4 tackles total. He showed his physicality. He showed that motor, the reason why he was drafted. So I do look forward to seeing how Dennis Allen continues to develop one Shamar Turner, because coming out of this bye, this was something that I said in my Washington preview going into this game. I wanted to see more, and I thought that they would integrate these rookies a little bit more. You saw the snap count for Colston Loveland go up. You saw the snap count for Luther Burden go up. And now you start to see Shamar Turner get involved a little bit more. So this is great. And I'll share that Amon-Ra St. Brown a little bit later, but the stats with Amon-Ra St. Brown and what he did during his career with Ben Johnson. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But yeah, it's really nice for me, man. And I don't know what you took away from the rookies, but with DJ Moore going down, if Luther Burden's on your free agent fantasy wire, you might want to get him, because if they get that ball in his hands, anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're starting to see right now is a coach who's starting to gain more trust in the rookies, and Ben Johnson. I mean, I think with instilling a new offense and a new defense with a brand new coaching staff, these guys kind of figure out who was here, what they had in the personnel. And, the more comfortable they got with some of the veterans here, guys like DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Cole Kmet, the more they start to figure out what these guys can and can't do. And then you can start to sprinkle in these rookies to kind of make up for some of those deficiencies, right? Like, I think that Luther Burden has a very particular skill set, and I think he can do things on a football field that most of the other Bears receivers probably just can't do. He's probably the best Chicago Bear in open space, maybe outside DeAndre Swift. And I do think at some point Luther Burden probably will be the most dangerous Chicago Bear. I think they're starting to figure out how they can use Colston Loveland. Obviously, it wasn't a spectacular game for Colston Loveland, but he's starting to find spots in the offense here and there where he can change games. He obviously had a crucial catch on the very last drive of the game, a 3rd down catch that kept that drive going. The Bears obviously ultimately ran out the clock and kicked a game-winning field goal. I think they tried Shamar Turner inside, Sean, last week. They probably didn't love what they saw. Now, that's not to say that they won't move him back inside at some point, but they probably didn't love what they saw. And maybe they think it's just easier to learn from the outside and then move in later. Maybe they think he can make an immediate impact right now if he's playing edge. But yeah, I mean, for Sean, for most of these guys being 1st and 2nd round picks, you certainly wanted to see them before now, but it's good to start to see them get integrated into the game plan here a little bit. And I'm telling you, I'm not saying that the Bears offense or defense will be number 1 in the NFL at any point this season, but I don't think they've plateaued. I think they are still going to continue to get better every single week. Now, listen, are they going to end up being a top 5 defensive football? Probably not, because they just don't have that personnel. But I do think they can sneak into the top 15, and you saw it on Monday. I mean, all we heard about all week is Bears better watch out. The Commanders can run the ball. Bears better watch out. The Commanders can run the ball. Well, outside Jay Daniels, who every team in the NFL is going to be hard-pressed to stop from finding room here and there, the Commanders did not run the ball that well.
No, they didn't. They had a couple of splash plays, but the explosives in the run game were very limited, and that was very exciting because we talked about that on the pre-show. We talked about it during the week that the key to this game was going to be to slow down the number 1 rush attack in the NFL going into that game at 154 yards a game, and the Bears. Although I believe it was 120 yards they gave up, but they limited them to 4 yards a carry. So it was little bits here and there. And like I said, I think they only had 1 explosive play, and that was Jaden Daniels escaping the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, here's your numbers. I mean, Corey Krusky-Merritt had 17 carries, 61 yards. That's 3.6 yards per carry, guys. Nothing spectacular. I mean, that's still positive yardage, and it certainly doesn't. You won't abandon that if you're a coach. But Jaden Daniels obviously was their best runner on the day. He had 10 carries for 52 yards, 5.2 yard average, and then they had that Jalen Lane sweep, that trick play where he ran the ball once for 7 yards. But most of the time, if you go look at the Bears receivers when they run the ball, they usually pick up pretty chunk gains too, because it's kind of a trick play. The defense doesn't expect it. But then you look at Jeremy McNichols, 2.5 yards per carry, Deebo Samuel, -1 yards per carry. I mean, the Bears bottled them up. And I don't know if it's necessarily like these guys are getting more comfortable in Dennis Allen's scheme. I don't know if it's the additions of guys like Shamar Turner and starting to set the edge, because I do think that Shamar Turner is probably a little bit better at setting the edge than Deo's been so far this season. But Sean, they're just buying whatever these coaches are selling, and they're becoming more and more bought in and more involved in what these coaches want. They see an identity, and they're following the game plan. And I think that the Bears are going to continue to get better. Now, listen, like I said, I don't think the Bears are ever going to lead the league in rushing yards allowed per game. I don't think they're ever going to be in the top 5, but they could certainly be better than they were against the Dallas Cowboys and Las Vegas Raiders, and they showed that on Monday.
Yeah, and I think, as we talked about too, the additions of Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards coming back were going to help. TJ Edwards was around. Tremaine Edmonds had a fantastic game. Kyler Gordon got burned a couple times. He gave up that touchdown pass.
Probably rust.
I'm not I'm not, you know me. I'm not worried about Kyler Gordon one single iota. The guy has not played meaningful football since the second to last week of training camp is when he got hurt. He's been out for 8 weeks. Kyler Gordon's going to be who Kyler Gordon is when he gets up to snuff. And yeah, I think every week we'll see him continue to improve.
And you know what? I understand that not a lot of people love Pro Football Focus, but there is a rhyme and reason to what they do. And Sean, the Bears' best graded defensive player was TJ Edwards. I mean, it's obvious that this guy is incredibly important to this team. And, I can make an argument. Do you know who their second rated defensive player was, Sean? It's Tremaine Edmonds. And I can make an argument that TJ Edwards makes Tremaine Edmonds better. I think they complement each other well, because there's a lot of things Tremaine Edmonds in his particular skill set that he can't do. And TJ Edwards can, so it kind of it's like lifts some of the weight off of his shoulders. I don't know. I'm starting to like the way that this linebacking core is starting to come together with the addition of obviously Noah Sewell playing this year. He's had his ups and downs, but for the most part, he's played pretty well for a reserve player. TJ Edwards back, he comes back and leads the team in tackles immediately. Of course, like we talked about, he's super crucial in stopping the run. And then, Sean, like you talked about, Kyler Gordon. I mean, outside of those 2 bad plays, you really didn't hear Kyler Gordon's name, and that's what you want.
Yeah, it was really special, and it was really special for me to continue to see number 99 grow. Gervon Dexter, he continues to be that disruptive force, and he was disruptive on Monday night. And, we'll see if he can continue. I think the one thing that still bothers me with number 99 is consistency, because you can see he comes in waves. It's just not consistent enough. And hopefully under the expert tutelage of Allen, that will get a little bit better.
Maybe it's something conditioning. Maybe he's just run out of gas here and there. But I mean, there is one thing I could see with Gervon Dexter, and he stands up too much, man. He's standing up too often. He needs to keep that pad level low, because if he could play with that pad level more consistently, I think Gervon Dexter could be one of the best defensive tackles in football. It's obvious that when he's not winded and he's fresh on the field, he makes a major impact for his team. I think he's probably still their best defensive lineman, Sean. I mean, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think probably, at the end of the day, at the end of the season, I think Gervon Dexter will probably have the most positive plays of anybody on the Bears defensive line. He had another sack and a half in this game against Washington. I think Gervon Dexter still has room to grow. He's still a very young player. I think under Dennis Allen, it's only going to get better. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, Sean, you and I said this a couple of weeks ago when people were ragging on the Bears for the 7 yards per carry allowed to Ashton Jeanty. This is a work in progress, just like the offense. And Dennis Allen's got to figure out what he's got here in personnel, and the personnel has to get used to Dennis Allen and buy into what he's selling. And I think at the end of the day, this defense is only going to get better and better and better week out. Now, eventually they will meet their climax. They will peak out. But I think it's probably not until what, Sean? Week 10, 11? And you should see them improve basically every week.
Play Green Bay, hopefully by December 7th.
And now you're talking about this team having what, 11 takeaways in the last 3 games? I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah, the Bears are number 2 in takeaways, only behind one Duval County.
I think they're tied now, aren't they? I think they're tied now.
Jacksonville has 14. I believe we have 13.
Yeah, so But I mean, if the Bears continue to do what they're doing and they continue to be good on third down defensively and they continue to take the ball away, they don't have to allow 1.2 yards per carry for the rest of your career. This is an
Right.
opportunistic defense. That's the way the Bears play. And I think Dennis Allen would like to be more of a shutdown defense, but based off of the personnel he has after the more he gets to know these guys, I think he thinks this is kind of be more of a bend, don't break mentality for the rest of the season until they can add more players in the offseason. And right now, I think the Bears defense is only going to get better, especially with the additions of TJ Edwards and Kyler Gordon. And Sean, it was disappointing to hear that Austin Booker was not going to play in this game because I think
Yeah.
he has the skill set that probably nobody else on the Chicago Bear has. I think he's going to be a pass rush specialist at some point in his career. I think he's going to be good. So the Bears need that. They need that. They need that third down NASCAR package type guy, that guy who could just hey, they put him in there on the field. They say, go get the quarterback. And that's all he does. And the Bears need a guy like that because I don't think Deo's that guy. I don't think Montez Sweat is that guy. I don't think you're going to
They're
get
not
anybody
showing it.
like that from the inside. So Austin Booker. And then obviously, Sean, at some point, if the Bears are still a competitive team later on in the season, you expect to see Jalen Johnson back. And I think you can get more into that shutdown mentality because Jalen Johnson's the best shutdown corner in the NFL, in my opinion.
And really quick, I don't know if we've seen Bear fans spawn before, so welcome to the show. And everyone in the chat, thanks for hanging out with us on this chilly, overcast Wednesday, and we'll give you one too. Thank you guys so much. Before we flip sides of the ball to the offensive side of the ball, 'cause there's a couple things with Caleb and DeAndre Swift and the run game in general I wanted to talk about. Now the Bears were able to blow this run game up against Washington. Dexter right now has got 2.5 sacks on the season. That's sixth amongst interior defensive linemen, 2 quarterback hits. But he has almost an 80 grade, 77.2 against the run. So he's starting to step up. And again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's just time and patience. It's like a flower. We're just watching it grow. And this is what it is. But a couple other guys, I know I bag on number 26 a lot, and he made a boneheaded play early in that ball game, but then Nashawn Wright turned it around and actually turned out a pretty gosh darn good performance against Washington. And then another guy who really stuck out to me and was kind of all over the place was Chris Williams. And I know we've been all over him for sucking last year and everything, but he really stuck out on the television screen on Monday night as well. And who else was out there that stuck out? Nick McLeod stuck out for sucking ass.
Sean, the Bears have one of the best rankings against slot receivers. So I mean, Nick McLeod's obviously serviceable. I mean, you watch it with your own 2 eyes, and you watch him make these plays, and you're like, man, he just doesn't look that good. But then you look at the statistics, and slot receivers are not very successful against him. So, I mean, I think Sean, at least at worst, I think the Bears have come to the realization that they have 2 pretty darn good backups corners there, because once Jalen Johnson comes back, I don't think having Nashawn Wright on the field for a couple plays, if Jalen Johnson or Kyler Gordon or somebody gets banged up, is the worst thing in the world. I think he's a capable NFL player. Now, listen, if he was a superstar, he'd be a starter, right? That's why he's a backup, because he's not a superstar. But I think he can go out there and do his job, and that's basically all I can ask for. And then real quick, Sean, play Sterling. I don't know if I've seen this name here before. I apologize, you've been in here before, man.
I haven't either.
It says the Bears need a running back and a defensive lineman. I couldn't agree with you more, and Yep, that's for you, Play. That's for you, man. I think the Bears agree with you as well. I think at some point in the offseason, the Bears will probably add to the defensive line and that running back room. Sean Trace says that offensive line played much better. For sure, that was by far their best game of the season, Trey. Not even a question. Melon Smasher says Swift averaged 4.2 yards per carry this season, on pace for 1,700 total yards. Yep, Swift had a phenomenal game. We actually called that before the game, guys, in our live show at River Street Tavern. We said that DeAndre Swift was going to have a big game. And
obviously, Kyle called it.
That was obviously his breakout game of the season. And then, Sean, your boy, Erica brings up here, John Wright had his best game. He was excellent. Yes, he was. And he was the highest ranked offensive player by PFF, I believe, or the top 3 for sure.
Let's switch to the offensive side, because I was going to touch on Darnell Wright. The gentleman came in with an injured elbow. He played hurt. He was averaging through the first 4 games. He was averaging 2 penalties a game. He had a big goose egg in that department on Monday, and that's the kind of progress you want to see. Now, when we talk about this offense and you listen to the coaching staff and Ben Johnson, this is a masterclass, and this is why we love this guy. And what he said was, we took these 2 weeks, We looked at what we did well, we simplified it, and we brought it to Washington. And I'm like, wow. So you spent 4 weeks struggling, creating penalties, doing all this. We're going to get into the penalties because the Bears should have had 5 less penalties in this game. But we'll talk about that in a second. But we have, when you look at and say, hey, man, we simplified this game. We're going to stick with what works. We're going to master that. Then we're going to move it out to what Melon Smasher's saying. That's Dr. Johnson, Beijing Dr. Johnson. This guy's surgical. He's methodical. He's got a plan. And we see it, and it's working. And when I see what he did with this game, Kyle, I've been banging this table on our shows. Get DeAndre Swift into space. Get this guy. You were with me in the game when I'm screaming at the TV when they're shoving him up the middle. They finally got him into space, and what do you know? No big time. Now, that was a shitty tackle down the sideline. A lot of teams probably would have tackled him out of bounds.
Sean, and Washington lost sight of DeAndre Swift way too often. I mean, DeAndre Swift should not have that much space. I expect the Bears to scheme him open, but Washington was leaving him open from time to time. And Sean, real quick to that comment that Spawn made there, he says Caleb Williams right now is relying way too much on the rest of the guys on the field. I mean, like Sean said, this playbook, I think they're kind of sprinkling in plays here and there week in and week out. I think at some point he's probably going to learn the entire playbook will be at his disposal. And I think that Caleb will eventually be the guy who kind of makes everybody around him better. Now, listen, that's not to say that Caleb hasn't played very well, because guys, if you go look at his numbers, Caleb Williams is having a phenomenal season. I mean, he could continue to play the way he's played this season so far. Even if he didn't get better, which he's going to, but even if he didn't get better, he would be on pace for a damn good season. He's going to be on pace for over 4,000 yards or over 30 touchdowns. He'd be the first Bears quarterback in franchise history to do that. I'm not taking anything away from Caleb Williams because he's been great, and he's particularly good in the fourth quarter or at the end of the first half when it matters most. But, I mean, Caleb definitely, he's still missing throws here and there. He still has some mental errors. Sean's brought up the fact that he kind of runs backwards sometimes, takes too many hits, doesn't throw the ball away. That stuff will come. He'll get better with that stuff as well. And I know people don't like being patient. People don't want to hear it's coming. It'll get here eventually. But it's just part of learning a new system. I mean, like we talked about before the season, I believe that for Caleb Williams, this is basically his rookie season. I mean, if you think about it, because when Ben Johnson was asked about what Caleb Williams could carry on into 2025 from the 2024 season, he basically said, like, hotel arrangements. Like, I mean, nothing on the football field.
Yeah, and you know, the thing when you look at getting inside the numbers, when we talk about Caleb Williams and you start talking about pressure to sack, last year he was at 27%. He's down to 15.4, which is above league average. And when I hear people these days say he's holding the ball too long, I got to tell you guys something. Lamar Jackson, 3.15. Jalen Hurts, 3.12. Dart, Allen, and May are all over 3 seconds. Caleb Williams right now is sitting at 3.2. So when you start to look at that and say he's managing the game and the rush is not managing him, if that makes any sense. He is starting to get it. The time to throw, it seems useless without the context when you look at the other great quarterbacks in the league, and he's bringing that number down to 3.2. You got Lamar at 3.8, as I just said, Josh Allen at 3.1, and Lamar at 3.1. You're talking about two of the best in the league. He's just above them. So it's starting to come together. And yes, accuracy for me is still an issue with him. And I still think that'll come in time. I really, really do. But
maybe he'll always miss throws, but as long as he keeps winning games, I don't give a shit. I mean, I would like him to be Patrick Mahomes. I'd like him to be Joe Burrow. I'd like him to be Josh Allen. But you guys, Josh Allen doesn't throw for over 4,000 yards very often. He's more of he uses his legs a lot more. I think Caleb can get better as a runner, as the more consistent as a runner the more time goes on. But we've all talked about it, guys. This is just Ben Johnson offense is difficult to learn, and it's going to take some time, but you can see that Caleb is getting more and more comfortable with the structure of the offense every single week. I mean, he looks poised. He looks like an NFL quarterback. He looks like he's got some intensity to him, like he knows what they have to. And if you guys listen to him talk to the offense before every single last drive of the game, where he's like, "This is it, guys. This is what we're here for. We got to go out here and score a touchdown." I believe him. I believe him. I don't think it's all rah-rah. I think Caleb believes that the Bears can do anything as long as they execute the game plan.
You know what the thing is for me, and I'm going to play this because I really love this in this interview, and it kind of shows you because your brother sent the text out earlier, after I sent the title for the show that said after I said the Ben Johnson effect, he said, well, it's the Ben and Caleb effect. There is no Caleb effect in my mind, and if there's a different point of view, that's fine. But there is no Caleb effect, I don't believe, without the effect of Ben Johnson onto him. Ben Johnson, this guy loves Ben, and he said it. He likes being pushed by him. He likes being coached by him, and they're a marriage together. The Ben Johnson effect has created the Caleb Williams effect, if that makes sense to everybody. But this is what he said in his interview after the game, and I loved it because it just shows the relationship that they're building together.
He is a mastermind, and so being able to have him, sometimes he's on the headset, and it's like, this is a great play call right here. Here we go, and so he did that today, and he says that to me, and so he has all belief and confidence in himself. And then, those little things actually provide confidence, when you're about to go call the play and, you line up and you're like, uh-oh. And then the play actually works. And so the belief and trust in him, the faith in him that he's dialing it up and he does every time.
It was kind of in that same
last
vein,
one here.
Working with Ben now 5 games in, just where is that relationship and do you feel like excited about where it's going?
Yeah, I'm excited every single day that I get to wake up and be coached by him. And I know the other guys are also. I think we believe in him. We trust him. We trust our other coaches. And I think that's going to continue to keep growing. The belief in him is.
That makes me feel so good. I wake up excited to be coached by him. I mean, that right there, you were not hearing this last year. This was nowhere ever going to be found last year, dude. Like, it's just amazing the turnaround. And you're talking about now 6 short weeks. And I know, Kyle, we were talking about like the bye being so early in the season. I kind of now like it after I heard him say, hey, man, we're simplifying this thing. We took these 2 weeks to find out what was going to make us work better. And then they came out and executed. And obviously it wasn't flawless, but it was better. And the best thing they did, and I know Erica already said it in the chat, but the best thing these guys did was put the Canadian destroyer out there. This guy is a revelation. They ran behind him. They ran behind him and Tooney, and they just took over this game. And I mean, for the love of everything holy, this undrafted free agent, dare I say it, Ryan Poles might have struck a good one here. We'll see if it continues. We got some major pass rushers coming up on this schedule still.
Very small sample size for sure. So, but, what I think is happening here, guys, is I think right now the Bears are winning because of Ben Johnson, because Caleb Williams is probably not entirely comfortable in this offense yet. There's still a lot to learn. But I think the more comfortable that Caleb Williams gets, the more you're going to see the Bears win because of Caleb Williams. I think it's going to be kind of a perfect marriage. And then once they're both comfortable with each other, they both know each other's habits, they have the same vision, which we've heard them talk about numerous times now. I think then they'll become one of the most dangerous quarterback coach tandem in the league, and I think it's going to be very similar to guys like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Like you're going to see that type of mentality from these guys. Like they can do anything, basically anything they want on a football field. And you guys, obviously, there's still holes on this Bears team, right? Sean, there's no doubt about it. Like people have talked about, the Bears need another running back, and Kyle Monangai did look better on Monday than he has weeks past. He did, and the Bears' offensive line is obviously getting better, opening up running lanes. We saw that with DeAndre Swift, but the Bears they're going to go in the offseason knowing that there's some things they have to clean up, knowing there's some players they have to add to this roster. But I think somebody said it in the chat earlier. I don't know who it was, but you guys enjoy. It's not always just about the destination. Enjoy the journey. How many times have we got to see the Bears win 3 games in a row in the last 5-6 years? I mean,
Yeah.
enjoy the journey. This is fun to watch. I love watching Caleb grow. I love watching guys like Luther and Colston kind of find their way in this offense. I love to see Shamar Turner play better on the end of the defensive line than the middle of the defensive line. Like, those are the adjustments you're going to see with these guys as this team continues to grow together. Like, they put Shamar Turner at the tackle position, guys. It didn't work out. So what did this coaching staff do? Being smart and intelligent and knowing how to win football games, they had made an adjustment, and they're like, all right, let's try Shamar Turner on the edge and see what he does there. And then the more comfortable he gets in the NFL, the more comfortable he gets with the speed of the game, the more we could probably start to move him around a little bit more. But right now, it's the same thing they do with Ozzie Trapilo. I don't think the jury is out as Ozzie Trapilo. Could he play left tackle? I think they're like, hey, man, to make Ozzie comfortable in the NFL, to get him in a good headspace, to build his confidence up a little bit, let's put him where he's been playing, where he's comfortable at right tackle. And the more comfortable he gets, and the more he masters that, we could start to move him around a little bit. But yeah, Sean, if Theo Benedette continues to play the way he played on Monday, and now listen, the Commanders don't have anybody on their defensive line that absolutely scares the hell out of you. Right? There is no Max Crosby. He's not there. But
he played well against Max too.
Yeah, and if he continues to play the way he played on Monday, and I assume that he probably is going to get better as well. Now, I know that Theo Benedette's been in the NFL for a while now. It's not like this is his first year, but I think the more comfortable he gets in Ben Johnson's offense, he's going to get better. And if he continues to get better, you may not have to look for a left tackle the offseason. Now, that's way too small of a sample size to make that statement, guys, but that would be the goal, right? I think that should be their goal for Theo Bennett. If this guy is a legit left tackle in the NFL, you can cross another thing off your list that you don't need to go add in the draft. And the more of those things they can cross off, the better it's going to be for the Chicago Bears this offseason.
And he's very athletic.
He moves very well.
I was going to say he's so much more athletic than Braxton Jones. It was almost a no-brainer.
Braxton Jones looks stumpy. He looks.
Yeah.
He looks like sometimes it looks like he's slow motion.
I want to get in context here with Cliff. When you say Caleb didn't have a good game, he was 17 of 29. He made the passes when he needed to, but the Bears' plan, in my eyes, the way I saw the game play out, was to run the ball and play off of the run, even though he did throw the ball 29 times because the Bears got down. I think if the Bears would have been able to maintain that lead, I don't think he throws the ball 29 times. They would have just kept pounding that rock. I mean, overall, I guess I'd like to ask, give him a grade. I mean, I would say a B would be fair.
Well, and Sean, how far are you willing to go here? Like, if you're talking about like all 22 here, if you're talking about breaking down the entire game for Caleb Williams play by play, you got to give credit or fault to everybody involved. That pass to Zacchaeus wasn't perfect. Well, that pass was Zacchaeus at 50 yards, but you got to catch that ball, man. I mean, listen, that's the reason these guys get paid so much is they have to bail their quarterback out every once in a while. Especially you're talking about a quarterback who's basically now in his rookie season learning a brand new offensive scheme under a brand new head coach. Zacchaeus has to catch that ball. Like, there was a lot of green grass in front of him. Like, it's not just about Caleb Williams. It's about the offense in totality. These guys, the only way for these guys to get better is if everybody around them gets better. Like, if Caleb continues to throw great passes and these guys are dropping them, you have to bring that up when you're talking about the efficiency or deficiencies of Caleb Williams. Now, listen, is Caleb leaving plays on the field? 100%. Absolutely.
100%. Without a doubt.
He should have made that throw. There's no doubt about it. That would have been a big touchdown for the Bears. But at the end of the day, he's a young quarterback. He hasn't even a year and a half in the NFL. Give him some time, let him get more comfortable and continue to put better talent around him. I like Oz. I think he serves a very important purpose for the Chicago Bears, especially when it comes to depth. But at the end of the day, guys, the plan for the Chicago Bears should be Luther Burden replaces Oz.
I was just going to say, Kyle,
that should be.
I hope the song and dance and the whole dog and pony show with Zacchaeus is over. Again, like you said, great piece to have on the bench. Bring him in, 4 wide receiver sets, whatever. I mean, you saw what he did. Luther Burden had the least amount of snaps, the most amount of catches, and the most amount of yards. Double his snaps, double his opportunities, and this dude is absolutely going to explode on his football team, man.
Yeah, and Zacchaeus had 2 drops, and both those drops were crucial drops and crucial moment of the game. Like, Zacchaeus, you have to catch those passes. And especially when you're talking about young quarterbacks, right, guys? We've talked how many times we hear this on the broadcast? How many times we talked about this on this podcast? When it comes to young quarterbacks, every once in a while, your teammates have to bail you out because young quarterbacks are going to make mistakes. But every once in a while, not every pass is going to be perfect, right? You got to bail them out. And
Gotta help out.
Zacchaeus,
You gotta help your
yeah,
quarterback
and this
out.
is not the first time this happened. This is not the first time this happened this year. That Roma Dunze dropped a couple in the weeks prior. I mean, you guys, with a quarterback who's obviously learning a new offense, probably a little bit overwhelmed right now. Guys like Zacchaeus, guys like Dunze, guys like DJ Moore, they need to catch these passes. I mean, from what I've seen so far this year from Caleb Williams is I've seen growth, and that's what we talked about before the season started. Adding to the offensive side of the ball to make things as comfortable for Caleb as you possibly can and eliminate excuses. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is playing like Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, or Josh Allen, but you can clearly see that week in and week out, Caleb Williams is getting better and playing within the structure of Ben Johnson's offense. And if those two continue to have the same vision and try to establish the same identity, it's only going to get better week in and week out.
Yeah, there's another big thing too. It was and I was interesting to read this when I saw it the other day. This was the least amount of the season low snaps for DeAndre Swift in his biggest total of the year, 175. He played a season low 56% of the snaps. He was down about, I think, 13% from where he was prior to the bye. I don't know if that was just, pure randomness, but I thought that was pretty awesome. The guy wound up playing his least amount of snaps and puts up his biggest day. Keep him fresh, get him out in the space. He's good for explosives. They found out a way to work him in and make him effective. I honestly still would like to see Monangai and Roshan. We had a Roshan sighting. I think his only carry got 5 yards. I would like to see a little bit more Roshan Johnson. I like to see him and Monangai in between the tackles a little bit more. And I've been hard on Monangai. I thought he ran well on Monday.
He had a really big catch too.
He had a big catch too. He had a good game, and they said he had hands of stone. He wasn't a good receiving back, but he made a big catch. So I get flowers. I'm not saying this is my guy, but I'll give him his flowers. He had a good game. I thought the entire team, as they said in the locker room afterwards, I just look at the entire team, the entire game in its existence, and it was just a beautiful team win. They never wavered, even in the eyes of adversity. When these guys ran off X amount of points, I can't remember if it was 16 or whatever it was, when the Bears got down, they just kept fighting. And that was just such a breath of fresh air. And again, I think that has a lot to do with the sideline, keeping everyone calm. Hey, we got this. Let's regroup. Let's figure it out. Causing these turnovers. I mean, Dennis Allen, Al Harris actually. What was it? Who was it on the defensive back? Oh man, I can't remember. I was just listening to it on the score earlier today, but he said all you hear out of Al Harris's mouth: "Take the ball away, take the ball away, take the ball away." They're getting back to that. They're getting back to that aggressive football nature that we like to see on the defensive side of the ball as the offense comes along. We said the defense is going to have to pick up the offense. The offense is going to have to pick up the defense. They both did that on Monday, and if we continue to see that over our next couple of games, I mean, if you look at the schedule for the Bears is very, very winnable over the next 5 weeks. We put that W on Washington's helmet there. We got the Saints, followed by Baltimore, Cincinnati, then the Giants, and then we wrap this 6-game six-pack up with the Minnesota Vikings. Hopefully, we can get a little revenge out there in Minnesota. But I'm really, really happy. I'm over the moon as a Bears fan, man. I'm over the moon as a Bears fan right now, just to see the changes and just to see a new culture and a new era beginning on the lakefront. And I have a new faith. I will have a new faith, I should say, watching these games as I continue to see these things develop. You
Yeah,
know,
and the more comfortable the coaching staff gets with one another, the more they do play complementary football, Sean. Like you said, offense, defense, special teams. I think the Bears are starting to become that team that are like, all right, well, we could punt here if we absolutely have to because we trust our defense or we trust the Tory Taylor to pin them deep, and we trust our defense to try to force them to drive 90 yards and score a touchdown. Like they're starting to build off of each other. I think the more trust that Ben Johnson gets in Dennis Allen, the more he doesn't feel like he has to go for every single fourth down on the field or constantly go for touchdowns instead of taking field goals, because you saw them take those 2 early field goals. And I feel like week 1, Ben Johnson wanted touchdowns on almost every single drive.
Mhm.
I think he's starting to have more faith in this defense, more faith in the special teams. But yeah, I mean, they're playing complementary football and they look more balanced, right? Like, listen, I know that Kyle Monangai and Roshan Johnson in their limited time didn't do anything spectacular, but if you could just give DeAndre Swift a couple plays off and continue to gain 3, 4, 5 yards at a time, positive gains every play instead of going backwards, I think the more balance you're going to see in this offense, and that opens up things like RPOs, play action, and you heard Caleb talk about it in his press conference, Sean. The more confidence this running game gains, the more Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift start to believe in this offense, start to believe in themselves, the easier it is on me, because then the defense, we keep keeping the defense on their heels. They don't know, are we going to run RPO? They don't know if we're going to run play action. They don't know what we're doing, and I think that's only going to become even more of a strength of the Chicago Bears once you start to see more 2 tight end sets, because I don't think Colston Loveland is super comfortable in this offense yet. And I don't know if Ben Johnson knows exactly what he wants out of Colston Loveland yet, because they drafted this guy 10 overall and told us he was a superior athlete. Well, then how come he has 8 catches on the year with 6, 8 catches or whatever he's got? Like that, I think at this point, Colston should probably be more involved in his offense. And I think in the coming weeks, you're going to see more and more of that as the season goes on. The only thing that stinks about the Bears, Sean, is you almost want all of them on your fantasy team because you never know which one's going to have a great day. That's the problem with the Chicago Bears.
well, on my fantasy team, with all my guys starting injuries at wide receiver, I'm going to be just starting Luther Burden by default at this point. I can't keep a wide receiver healthy for the love of everything holy. So I wanted to say, hey man, thanks to everybody in the chat: Bruja, Cliff, Melon Smasher, James, Trey.
Absolutely.
You guys are rocking, and I know I can't remember. I think it was Bears
Spawn's
Phil.
here, Trey's here, Phil's here, Melon Smasher's here, Ron was in the house, Breaking News Bruce is here, Brandon and Dustin showed up, C-Spags is here. Thank you so much, as always, guys. We appreciate you guys, man. And thanks to everybody who showed up on Monday. Cliff's here as well. Thanks everybody who showed up on Monday for the game, man. We raised a good chunk of change for charity, for Bears Care Charity, and it was ultimately a smashing success. So we had a blast. I don't know about you, Sean. I had an absolute blast, man.
I had a blast. There was the scene. It was standing room only. We had people on the restaurant side as well. Everyone seemed to have a good time. We got a little video at the end of the show of the festivities in the evening that we had there. It was great, and hopefully we get to meet some more. We had Relentless Mikey came out and hung out with us and watched the ball game, and it was a lot of fun. And it made it even more fun seeing the Bears kick that game-winning field goal, because I'll be honest, I closed my eyes. I was like, I don't want to see this.
No, you guys, breaking news here, 4-Star Chicago Sports. Sean here actually called the fumbled snap by Jaden Daniels. He comes into the dining room at River Street Tavern and he goes, guys, I don't know. I just have a feeling. I think Washington's going to fumble the snap or something. And literally 6 seconds later, Deshaun Wright was jumping on the football. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, Sean, at the end of the day, I talked about this was the show. There's no such thing as a bad win. I don't care. People,
I don't care.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. We've always been on the losing end of these games where the ball bounces a weird way. We've always been on the losing end. It's nice to be in the winning end every once in a while.
Yeah. And and as you talk about the continued Ben Johnson effect on this team, you're just going to continue to see that evolve, and you already are seeing it in every position, and the coaches that he brought in here. Everything that happens on this football team moving forward is the Ben Johnson effect. And the fact that our quarterback comes out and just said, as the video we just said from his interview, I love waking up every day being coached by this guy. He seems to be humbled a little bit, and the backyard stuff is starting to go away a little bit. If you go back to week 1 to last week, it's starting to go away. He had that bad run where he ran out of bounds and then got hit that should have been a penalty too, because he was out of bounds and the dude hit him in the face with a helmet. That should have been a penalty that wasn't called. We're gonna get into these officials here, but for the love of everything holy,
Yeah, Sean, let's talk about it right now. Let's talk about it right now because you guys, we heard Ben Johnson say in the locker room post game was talking to the team when addressing the team. He said, "Guys, imagine if we cleaned up some of these penalties. Imagine if we cleaned this up. We would. I mean, obviously, you saw the Rome Odunze touchdown negated by Theo Benedict not lining up in the right position. But I mean, I just feel like it's not just the Bears, guys. I'm not going to be like a biased fan here and say, oh, the refs screwed us. It's happening to everybody. It's happening to everybody. The officiating in the NFL this year is worse than it normally is. It's getting worse every single year. And like one of our buddies brought up at River Street, and then they keep adding in all these tweaks to these rules or these new rules, and it's just more for these guys to learn when they never even learned the last rule that was implemented. We're still talking about what is a catch in the NFL in 2025, and it's just getting worse and worse. And I feel like, and I know this is easy to say as a Bears fan, but in this particular game Monday night, I feel like the refs favored the Commanders a little bit, and that's usually the case for the home team. But this was, I mean, 4 of the 9 whatever penalty, 4 of the 8 penalties, whatever was called on the Bears were very, very ticky-tacky. Now, listen, by definition, did they probably break a rule in the NFL? Sure, but you got to call the game the same way for both teams, and sometimes you got to just let these guys play football, man. Like it's. And I agree with you, Bruce. Troy Aikman was not good either. I mean, as a Bears fan, outside of the Bears winning that game, watching that game on ESPN on Monday night everything about it was not enjoyable.
It almost
was it ESPN? I don't whatever channel.
Yeah, it was. They said he said it was lucky. The DeAndre Swift touchdown run was lucky. He said that on air. I know that was talked about today. I don't let it bother me. I love this underdog role. Let's just keep embracing it. Let's just keep stacking.
Yeah, Sean. I hope we would go into New Orleans. Or I hope New Orleans would come here as we'd be the underdog. I think the Bears like it.
Yeah, this is fun and you can't change the officiating, but they can't be as egregious as they were. I'm sorry that the hit to Montez Sweat, the very slight brush of the helmet, it wasn't malicious, it wasn't intentful. It was more or less he was just following his arm around as he was trying to get around his block and actually brushed him in the head. Colston Loveland. That was not a PI, man. I mean, I don't even know if he touched that guy.
You're talking about 250-pound men running down the field with one another. They're going to bump into each other.
Yeah.
No, you can't just call pass interference every single play. You want the game to remain physical. That's what people love about this game. That's why people continue to watch it. And, even Troy Aikman, who seemed to be a Bears hater during this game, that play that was negated, the touchdown was negated for Doomsday by Theo Benedict. Even Troy Aikman was like, I don't see any penalty here at all.
That was not a penalty.
If the play-by-play and analysts are calling these guys out, like, what are they looking? What are they watching? Because whatever they're watching, I'm not watching it. It's starting to get bad because they're told by the NFL, do not call out the officials. And Sean, real quick, Bruja says here, good teams are able to beat their opponents and complicated officiating. Yeah, and you know what? Every game,
right, buddy.
every game in sports has terrible calls, and good teams have to overcome that. But I did feel like Monday it was like just time and time and time and time again. I'm like, dude, what is going on? I feel like they just don't like the Bears. But yeah, I mean, ultimately the Bears overcame the bad play calling and they won the game.
I agree,
Cliff. It doesn't matter, but man. Some of those calls, I'm like, guys, what, are you officiating the game or are you officiating the spread? I mean, are we going to start playing flag football here soon? What's going on?
They even, and I forgot to load it up, but during the game when they did the replay, they took the yellow line and they drew it across. And,
like it's the center's belt line. That's what
and Theo Benedict was. It was terrible, for the Bears because this game is over. Because after the game, all these Washington idiot fans were like, "Oh, if we didn't miss that field goal, we would have won." Well, guess what? If they wouldn't have blown that call with Theo Benedict, you still would have been down by 4, so you wouldn't have won.
Yeah, you know what? Last year, if you guys don't have a Hail Mary that's 4 yards short of the end zone, bounce off the pile, then I don't want to hear any of that shit. A win is a win is a win, and there was one in particular, Sean. I don't know if it was the fourth quarter. You guys, third or fourth quarter. You guys in the chat help me out here, but they originally called, I think it was offsides on the defense, and then they were like, "Oh, never mind, sorry, that penalty was on the offense." And I never even got an explanation. I don't know. Did you guys? Did you guys ever hear an explanation? I still don't know what the Bears were called for on that play. All of a sudden, they get this first down. All of a sudden, it's like first and 14. I'm like, what just happened? The defense was offsides, and we moved back 4 yards. What's going on? It's just, and you guys, I'm telling you, this is not a biased Bears fan. Sean and I watch almost every single football game every Sunday. Sean's got a hell of a setup in his garage there. He's got like 5 TVs. The refs have not been good. They're not good. They're not doing good. They're ruining the product. We do not watch football to watch the officials throw yellow flags. We watch the football to watch the best athletes in the world, and we're watching these guys ruin games. They are actually literally that game. I think it was Denver and Indy. Sean, there was a leverage call on a field goal, so that the Colts got to re-kick the field goal and ultimately won the game, and he missed the first field goal. That was not leverage. By the NFL's definition, that is not leverage. Sean, is it just me? I feel like they're throwing flags, and then they go huddle up and find something to account for the flag. Like they didn't even have, they didn't see anything illegal when they threw it. It's bad. And I'm not going to sit here and, if the Bears lose games, I'm not going to blame it on the refs. You don't ever want to be that fan, but
No,
the NFL might want to find a way to start cleaning this stuff up here, because it's starting to ruin the product a little bit here.
you're gonna have they're gonna have ABS in baseball. They're gonna have to figure out something with football here. Or everything's just going to be a replay. Let's retake a look at that and see if he was even with the line, and then reverse.
Well, Sean, I guess that doesn't matter, because Bruja says right here the broadcast went to show the first early face mask penalty, and they couldn't even find it.
That was right. It was a phantom. It was a phantom face mask, dude.
Was that the one on Nation Right where they only had like one angle?
Yes,
of it?
yes. That was the one. That was the play. And correct me if I'm wrong, Bruja. That was the play where they were both engaged with grabbing each other like 5 yards up the field, and then they threw the flag on right. Like, dude, and then they gave him a face mask, and his hands never even like were higher than his shoulders. Like, dude, like.
Yeah, and then Sean, if you watch very carefully, the play in which Jaquan Brisker goes at the legs of Jaden Daniels. If you watch that play carefully, you can actually see the offensive lineman shove Jaquan Brisker in the back, and his momentum carries him into the legs of Jaden Daniels. Like, what do you guys want these guys to do? They can't hit the pause button while they're falling down midair and stop themselves from hitting the quarterback. This is football. It's a violent game. Sometimes you're going to get hit in places you don't want to get hit. And if it's not intent, like if it's not Jaquan Brisker went back there as a free rusher, and instead of tackling him, he just dove straight to his knees. If it's not something under those circumstances, you got to just let them play. That's why we watch the game. It's fun. The violence is fun. That's why people love football. This is Gladiators in 2025. That's what it is.
Big hits. Big hits is what I watch for on Sunday. Big hits and what do they call what's his name on Good Morning Football? Call them the runs, angry runs, angry runs and big hits. That's what I like to see, and big touchdown catches. I like explosive plays like Ben Johnson.
Yeah, and there was a play, Sean, in the fourth quarter. It was the last drive of the game where DeAndre Swift was hit with a helmet to the crown of his helmet. The guy hit him with the crown of his helmet, and they didn't call a flag. Like, if you're going to call it consistently. Call it consistently. It's like when you're watching baseball and you see that first pitch of the game that's a quarter inch outside of the zone, and they call it a strike. I'm like, well, that's probably going to be a strike for the rest of the game, right? Like, he may be missing that pitch, but at least it's consistent. These guys, you can't call 12 penalties on one team for itsy bitsy little ticky-tacky penalties and then not call blatantly obvious penalties on the other team. Now you are changing the trajectory of the game. And for the Bears and Ben Johnson and this football team and Caleb Williams to overcome that adversity and win that game regardless of the disadvantages. And like you said, Sean, we're going into the game, we're all like, oh man, the Commanders are a good running team and now it's raining. Like, the Bears are in big trouble.
Yeah.
And the Bears just continued to find a way to keep pushing forward, never gave up, and ultimately won the game. And as long as you keep yourself in every game, you always have a chance to win. I think Ben Johnson will find a way to win more often than lose.
Yeah, and I think the run game for the Bears caught the Commanders off guard. They're coming into this game like the Bears can't run the ball at all, and then they ran it right up their ass, and they never recovered from it. And I loved it. I loved it. Smash mouth football. Love the game plan. Love the execution. Love what I'm seeing grow here in Chicago on the lakefront. And I think as we get into anything else we got from this one before we flip the script to week number 7 in the NFL?
No, Sean, all I want to say is at the end of the day, a win is all that matters. It's 2 road games in a row. That's tough to do in the NFL, regardless of the opponents. The Bears need to continue to buy into Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen and what they're preaching. And I think that this team, in time, you'll start to see a team that could look like a championship caliber team as early as 2026. These guys just need to get better, get Luther Burden more involved, get Coastal Loveland more involved, Kyle Monangai more involved, Shamar Turner, and let's start to see where the holes are that the Bears need to address in the offseason. I think if this Bears team continues to play the way it's been playing, I know, guys, are you going to call me crazy? But I think they have, with the way the NFC is going right now, I don't think the Bears making the playoffs is out of the question by any means necessary. The NFC, there's nobody really, besides the Detroit Lions, we're always really good. Nobody in the NFC scares me. Maybe the Buccaneers if they're healthy, but that's about
The
it.
thing that's scary about the Buccaneers is they have one loss and they are beat up.
Yeah, they're not healthy. And Sean, remember that was the Buccaneers were my dark horse team to make the Super Bowl, and I have not veered from that opinion. I think if the Buccaneers get healthy and they play up to the standards that they can, I think the Buccaneers are going to be a very dangerous team in the playoffs. And man, is Baker Mayfield not the funnest guy to watch in the entire world, or is it just me? Dude? I mean, the guy is absolutely. And just another reason why the Browns suck. Just another reason why the Browns suck.
You know what? The Browns probably would have never developed him into what he is today. I think.
Yeah, and you know it sucks because I like Kevin Stefanski. I do, but it's just I think that he's kind of handcuffed there in Cleveland.
And I don't know if Bears fan Phil is still with us or not, but he wanted that. He actually threw a question before we flipped the script to week 7. I wanted to make sure I get to this because Kyle and I have been on this about special teams and the special teams tackling. That has got to get better. That they have to figure out a way to get that better because they, again, especially against better teams that are more well coached on the special teams side, they're going to be starting at the 40 and 50 yard line. And this just can't happen. The tackling on special teams, even last night, even Monday, was horrendous. And that has to get better. It is one thing that coming out of the bye, I don't think got much better. I don't know what.
And Sean, you know where I stand. I wasn't a huge fan of retaining Richard Hightower. The San Francisco 49ers rarely let coaches or players go who are good coaches or good players. And the fact that they wanted to move on from Richard Hightower was kind of suspect to begin with. And then the fact that he was hired by Matt Eberflus, who also hired Shane Waldron in the same season. Like, I just don't love the Richard Hightower retaining him as a coach. And I think eventually they will probably part ways with him. I know that he has these trick plays here and there that people love, but for the most part, the Bears special teams has not been good this season. And I know that the average starting position in the NFL is getting better for the offense, but the Bears are it's bad. It's the average is like what 40 now.
Yeah, it's really weird, man, because the special teams has always been a strength for the Bears. But I mean, tackling drills, guys, close those lanes. Like it is so weird that they're this bad, and it's atrocious. It really is. And
Yeah,
again,
at some point,
like,
we
when we're playing I was going to say, when we're playing the Ravens in 2 weeks. If you're setting them up consistently on the 40 or 50, the Bears are going to give up 60 fucking points that game.
and it's vice versa too. At some point, you'd like to see guys like Devin Duvernay or Luther Burden start making huge splash plays in special teams. Like, let's score a touchdown on special teams. Let's get better everywhere. And right now, the Bears kick and punt returns are kind of and their kick and punt return coverage is not good. They need to improve on special teams for sure. And I hope they will, because I'm sure Richard Hightower's got a bunch of new personnel there. He's trying to learn what they can do, what they can't do as well. But it certainly needs to be better. No question about it.
And to your point, Squeegee, the last 2 wins were fortunate, but those were team wins that the Bears came through. And last year, these are games that we would have lost. So it's hard to win in this league, man. It really, really is. You only get 17 chances every year. So you take them, and I like to win while we're improving, and we see this improvement. But I'll tell you, if they can figure out a way to be a little bit more consistent on the offense with these takeaways that they're getting, just think if they could have turned that second takeaway, they had the ball on the 30 and they couldn't score. I mean, you had 30 yards to get in the freaking end zone, man. Like, let's go. I really thought that was going to be a touchdown. That when they got that second turnover, and it just they got to start getting these turnovers into touchdowns and really make these teams feel it.
Well, they will. I think they'll start
Eventually.
by next year. I think this team will be scoring very, very similarly to what the Detroit Lions are doing there in Detroit. They just need to. They're a couple guys short of where that Detroit Lions roster is. Sean Melton Special says, "I want Burton getting touches on returns. He has wiggle and vision. Duvernay not explosive. Zacchaeus more explosive than Duvernay. Yeah, you guys. I like the Duvernay signing when they made it. And I understand why Ryan Poles made it because he was, by definition, the best returner in the NFL in terms of yardage. But it doesn't seem to be working out in Chicago. And I don't know if that has to do with Devin Duvernay or more with Richard Hightower. But they need to put somebody back there who can do the same thing their opponents are doing to them. Give you good field position. Give Caleb shorter fields. So let's score more points, man. Because this defense is never going to be a 10 points allowed per game defense. So the Bears need to continue to score a lot of points. And I think right now they're ranked 10th in the NFL, which isn't bad. But when you clean up some of these penalties, some of these self-inflicted wounds, the Bears could be sneaking to the top 6, 7, 8 in scoring. They're going to be a good football team.
I do agree with that. And on to that note, ladies and gentlemen, Bears, October 19th, 2025, 12 o'clock at Soldier Field. The game will be on Fox. Temperature 59 degrees, sunny, and partly cloudy, it says, at the start. So it looks like we have a partly cloudy day. Bears are going into week number 7 against the Saints, 5.5-point favorites, a 65.5% chance to win at the sports book. They give the Saints right now currently a 34% chance to win this game. Bears minus 250 on the money line. New Orleans plus 200. Over and under 45.5. Spencer Rattler, for me, is quietly putting together some decent stats. 139 for 203. We figured this out before the game. 68% completion percentage. 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. Unfortunately, New Orleans defense has been more of their undoing. 2 road games against Buffalo and Seattle. They've given up 75 points. Their defense has been a little bit tighter at home. So going into this game, their defense, as we go up against another team, their defense is averaging 3.8 yards allowed per game. Something that the Bears will have to overcome because Ben Johnson wants to run the ball, to pass the ball. I don't think that's ever going to change. But Kyle, your first takeaways: New Orleans coming in. This is a one-win team that was lucky to win that team against a rookie quarterback, the Giants in New Orleans, a game they had to come back and win. But those stats, when you look at Spencer Rattler, are not bad. You have Chris Olave on the outside. He's been a PPR magnet. You obviously have Keandre Miller and the big dog and Alvin Kamara. So this team is not weaponless, and they can't hurt you. So the Bears are going to have to stay true to their gap discipline and stay true to themselves as they were on Monday in Washington. What are your first takeaways of the Saints visiting the lakefront?
Well, first, Sean, let me start by saying I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm starting to miss noon football a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of nice to have the Bears game done and over with by 3 o'clock, and you go on and watch the rest of football without being in a bad mood or being anxious because you don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, Sean, if you look at the Saints team on paper, they are average to below average. It's just not a good football team. And then Spencer Rattler has played better than I thought he was going to. I'll give him that. Now, obviously, he's not scoring a lot. They've only scored 6 touchdowns via Spencer Rattler, and he has that 1 interception. But I mean, I think the Saints have scored something like 10 touchdowns on the year. That's not going to get it done through 5 games, guys. Yeah. This is not a good football team. It's not. There's no reason why they're coming into our house. There's no reason why the Chicago Bears shouldn't beat up on this team. I like what Kellen Moore has done there. I think he's getting more out of what they gave him in terms of roster. But I agree with what somebody said it earlier in the comments, Sean. They said these salary woes are finally starting to catch up to the New Orleans Saints. They had so much deferred money. I think going into the season, they were negative, last year, I think they were negative $79 million under the cap. I mean, they just didn't have a ton of money to spend. They didn't add any superstars. If you look at them statistically, Sean, on paper, I think their defense, I wrote it down here somewhere. Their defense is ranked 18th in yards per game allowed, 327 yards per game, 25th in Points per game allowed 26.7. The Bears are allowing or scoring 25. So the Bears should score 25 or more based off these statistics. The Saints are the 24th ranked offense in the NFL with 305 yards per game, and the 28th ranked offense in the NFL at 18.5 per game or points per game. So a lot to be desired there, man. This team is not good. They're outside of this ranked 18th in yards per game allowed for their defense. They are ranked 20th or worse in every statistical category. The Bears defense is not much better. They're ranked 27th in both yards per game and points per game allowed. But the Bears offense is where the difference is going to be made up here, Sean. The Bears are ranked 14th on offense in the NFL right now, averaging 338.6 yards per game, and they're ranked 10th in the NFL in points per game at 25.2. And the Bears, like you said, Sean, are now in second place in the NFL with 12 takeaways. I think the Bears are opportunistic. I think the Saints make too many mistakes, and I think ultimately the Bears are just too much for the Saints team to handle. I do think the Saints will move the ball. I think Bears fans expect them to come to Chicago and have 79 yards total. I think they're better than that. I think Kellen Moore ultimately is going to be a pretty good coach, but they just don't have. Sean, let's face it. Alvin Kamara is great. We know who he is. He's getting older. Chris Olave is great, but he's basically all they've got to throw the ball to. Spencer Rattler is what he is. He's always going to be an average quarterback. I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar in the NFL. Their offensive line is suspect at best. The Bears should be able to beat the Saints and beat them handily. We have people saying in the comments here, it'd be nice to see the Bears get a big lead and hold it and just walk out of there without any stress. I think this is probably going to be the game for the Chicago Bears fans, where I don't think your problems will ever be too sweaty in this one, guy.
Yeah, and for me, and I don't know if the chat agrees or not, they're a little bit more stout against the run. 178 carries, they allowed 684 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 3.8 yards per carry. But then when you flip that script and say they're allowing quarterbacks to complete 69.5% completion percentage, and they got 111 passer rating against them this year, and 14 touchdowns allowed through the air. This sounds like a big Roma Dunze, Caleb Williams day to me. Maybe they get Colston Loveland involved, maybe running some outside routes. Maybe you see DeAndre Swift on some wheel routes, getting out in space, be able to take it out line. The way to beat this team is obviously through the air. They're stout on the ground. I'm not saying they can't be had on the ground. They did give up 5.4 yards per carry to the Cardinals and 5.2 to the Bills. So they can be had on the ground. Most of the games they've held teams. They held CMC in check. I think he had 14 carries for 50 yards against New Orleans. So they have done it well against some good guys, but they have given it up to James Cook. And I think it was Trey Benson who actually tore them up in the first week of the season. So I still think for me, this is going to be a big Caleb Williams day. Great day for this offensive line to continue to become a cohesive unit in pass protection, as the schedule will get tougher, as we're going to be facing that Giants front coming up pretty soon, which is going to be a stout test. We're going to find out where we are when we play the New York Football Giants. That's for damn sure. So getting a couple of these games against Baltimore and Cincinnati and the Saints under our belts ahead of that Giants matchup is huge to me, because that 7 in New York is scary.
Yeah, and Sean, the Saints can still take the ball away. They're still +4 on the season in the takeaway margin. So it's not like they're the worst defense in football. Like I said, they are ranked 18th against their opposing offenses in yards per game allowed. So kind of in the middle of the pack there. But at the end of the day, there's just nobody on the New Orleans Saints that scares me. I will say this. I do have nightmares of Taysom Hill scoring 3 touchdowns against the Bears last time they played each other. So try to keep that guy under reps if you can. But I think Taysom Hill is also still recovering from that injury. I think he touched the ball once last week. So I mean, Sean, there's just nothing. I mean, you put your best corner on Chris Olave, and where do they go? And like you said, opposing quarterbacks have had really good days against the Saints. If you guys go look at their game logs, game by game, almost every quarterback that's played them has played pretty well. So I expect Caleb Williams to continue to grow this week, and I expect him to throw for 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. And on the defensive side of the ball, the 2 names that you got to worry about here, obviously Demario Davis and Pete Warner, the 2 most important guys. I think I'm going to touch on this. They're 18th in opponent scoring and 10th in sacks in the league. So they can get after you a little bit defensively. But all in all, when I look at this game as a whole, it's not really a game that I'm scared of. They've been outscored on the road 75-32. I take that into account. They've only played 2 road games. They did come back and did keep it close in Buffalo. They lost 31-19 in Buffalo, but they got absolutely manhandled in Seattle. They lost 44-13 in that football game.
Sean, that game was over in the first quarter.
Yeah,
That game was over in the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't know if the Bears. I mean, I hope that game, this Sunday is exactly like that. The game in Seattle, but that's not where I have this prediction. I do have it a little bit tighter of a ball game because I just until the Bears blow someone out, I can't sit here and say I believe they're going to blow somebody out. They're going to continue. If they're going to continue to win games, I have a feeling it's going to be the way they did it.
It's up to the Bears.
I mean, I guess they did blow Dallas out. Would you consider Dallas a blowout?
Yeah, for sure. And it's up to the Bears, Sean. If the Bears don't make a lot of mistakes, if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, if they don't hurt themselves and have much negative plays, they're going to kill the Saints. They're going to kill them. They're going to kill them. If the Bears continue to shoot themselves in the foot, they're going to keep this game close, in which it's sad and pathetic because if you don't make those mental mistakes, then you could kill them. I mean, the Saints just aren't a good football team. And once they get behind the Saints, and they have to start passing the ball more, I think the more mistakes they're going to make. And I think the Bears will take the ball away again. Shaw, real quick, outside of Caleb Williams, offense or defense, I don't care. Give me your player of the game against the New Orleans Saints.
Against New Orleans?
Yeah, like I said, DeAndre Swift would be the player of the game against Washington there. Who do you think would be the player of the game against the New Orleans Saints?
Can I give you 2?
Yes.
I'm going to give you 2 because I'm going to give you a deep sleeper. You already know who that is.
Yeah, well, I think that depends on it depends on who's healthy too, right?
That's true. That's why Luther Burden will be my deep sleeper. But based on what they've done through the air, I don't know how they're going to contain Rome Odunze. I really don't. I mean, the Cowboys have allowed 15 passing touchdowns. The Saints have allowed 14. The Bears have allowed 13. So you're talking about 2 teams that give up a lot of touchdowns through the air. I don't know how they're going to stop Rome Odunze. And not to go back to the Washington game, but that catch, the way he turned around and torqued his body in the end zone.
Oh, yeah, the adjustment.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's good, man.
That was phenomenal, dude.
It's not a small sample size anymore. Rome Odunze is exactly what we think he is. He's a very good player. And, Sean, you took the words out of my mouth because my player of the game for this game is going to be Rome Odunze. I think he gets back on the scoring track this week. I think he scores a touchdown. I think last week was the only week in which he has not scored a touchdown. He's got 5 on the season. Rome's been absolutely amazing. Phenomenal.
At the same time.
But I do think ultimately Rome Odunze is going to be the player of the game, excluding Caleb Williams, guys, because it's easy to pick the quarterback, right? Anybody in the chat, tell us who you think the player of the game is going to be. Breaking news: Bruce has DeAndre Swift. Use Condom says, "Why are you guys talking like you won already? I got Chicago, but this could bite you guys in the butt." I mean, what we say on this podcast isn't going to change the trajectory of the Chicago.
No.
I wish it was, but
Chicago.
And this is what we said in the offseason. We said that the Bears were going to get better as the season went on, and and Ben Johnson said we'll play our best game in December, and that's exactly what the Bears are doing.
It's looking that way. And use Condom. I did just say I think this game might be a little bit tighter. I won't pick the Bears in the blowout until they show me they can blow somebody out. And if you want to call the Dallas game a blowout, that's fair. That's fair. I just don't think Dallas's defense can stop a nosebleed. And the Saints defense is way better than the Cowboys defense. It's not really.
Well, not in terms of points per game allowed.
That's because they're giving up passing touchdowns like candy and Halloween. But
you can't give up 27 points a game for the rest of you're not going to win a lot of games giving up 27 points a game, you guys. And that's what the Saints are giving up right now. They're 1-5 on the season. I mean, it's just not a good football team. And you don't have to be a Bears believer to understand that the Saints are just not a competitive football team. And there's just absolutely no way. If you look at the 2 teams on paper, the Bears clearly are the more talented roster. It's not even a question. I would say they probably have a better head coach, although we don't know much about Kellen Moore and what he's going to do with the Saints there. I agree with Sean. Somebody in the chat put earlier, when do the Saints start tanking, or is it tank time for the Saints? I mean, you lose a couple more games. If you're concerned about drafting a quarterback, I would start to have those conversations inside the building because it's just not a good football team. And, I love Alvin Kamara. I think he's a very good player, but this year he's averaging one of the lowest yards per run he's ever averaged. And that's because their offensive line's not good. And if you look at the teams in the NFL who are good football teams who are championship caliber teams, they all have good offensive lines. There's nothing the Saints can do with their roster, with their personnel, to flip the season around. There's nothing they can do. They're not going to trade for Josh Allen. The Saints aren't a good football team. They're continue to be a bad football team, and they're coming to our house. And the Bears, I think, will start to play better at home. The Saints have not played good on the road. I think the Bears are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it pretty handedly. And Sean, we're starting to get some score predictions here.
I got it. Foster has. I'm putting you down here, Foster.
Yeah, Cliff's got
CW for crappy weather. 24-13. All right, I got you.
Yeah, well, Foster has 35-12.
I got
or
that.
No. And then Cliff has 31-16, Sean.
31 or 36?
Cliff has 31-16 Bears.
I wrote 36.
Melon Smasher has 34-24 Bears, and his player of the game is also Luther Burden, Sean, so he agrees with you. And Bruce has the Bears. What a surprise. Bruce has the Bears winning 40-10. And Bruja's got the Bears 28-17. Vizzo Joe's got the Bears 31-20.
Hold on, what was Brew? 28-17.
Yeah, Vizzo Joe's 31-20.
Vizzo. What was it? 21?
31-20.
31.
And Ron has the Bears 38-10.
Wow.
And then Sean, you kind of follows it up with, I am not a Bears fan, but do you guys see Swift as a long-term running back for your squad? No, I don't.
No.
I don't. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised at all if they move on from Swift in the offseason. And I'm not saying that they have to. I don't think it's like a pressing issue because I do think Swift serves a perfect purpose, and he is good in space. He's a dangerous player if you get him in space, and you saw that on Monday. But I think Ben Johnson wants his Jahmyr Gibbs, and I don't think it necessarily has to be that exact type of player, but I think it has to be a player who could do everything. Could run between the tackles, could pass protect, catch the ball, is good in open space. I think he wants that guy in this team, and I think that's why the Bears were so hard after TreVeyon Henderson. Obviously, it didn't pan out for them, but they wanted TreVeyon Henderson. And Sean, Squeegee has the Bears 34-10. Did I give you that one already?
Yeah, I wrote that one down. I'm trying to find my.
Yeah, Cliff said he had the Bears 25-21 over Washington. I actually had the Bears 28-24 over Washington, so I was a field goal off as well, Cliff. If that field goal wasn't blocked, the Bears would have won 28-24. It is kind of eerie that the Bears won with the exact same score in back-to-back.
I will tell you this. If you guys go to my previews at 4starchicagosports.com, or no, actually on our Facebook page is where I post them. I've been off the last 2 weeks by 2 points each game. I had the Bears 27-24 this week, and obviously 25-24. And I believe I had the Bears. I think, I had the Bears actually. I'm wrong. I think it was 24-21 against the Raiders. I was trying to find it. I can't find it.
I think the Bears will win this game handily. A guy I would keep an eye on if I was the Chicago Bears, the dark horse for me for the New Orleans Saints. You're going to have Tyreek Stevenson on Chris Olave, so the Bears need to keep an eye on Rashid Shaheed because he could certainly screw up a game pretty quickly for the opposing team. He can score some long touchdowns. So no more busted coverages like Luke McCaffrey on Monday night there. Make sure that Rashid Shaheed does not blow up.
I had
Sean,
the Bears 27-17 versus Vegas. So I was
all right, Sean, what do you got for this one?
For which one? What are we talking about?
Bears Saints.
Oh. What did I write down? Hold on. I just went, give me 1 second. Where did I just do with my Bears and the Saints? I just had my prediction up and I lost it.
Yeah, you kind of, I don't think it's even a question. If you're talking about the 3 or the 4 NFC North teams, I'd say that the Packers have the worst wide receiver squad in the NFC North. And that's nothing to be ashamed of because they don't have Justin Jefferson. They don't have Roman Dunze and DJ Moore. They don't have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta and Jameson Williams. So by default, I think they have the worst wide receiver squad in the NFC North. But I do believe in Matthew Golden. I think he's only going to get better. Sean, let's hear your score prediction.
Well, as I stated earlier, the Saints have surrendered 75 points in their 2 road games against the Bills and the Seahawks. New Orleans also does rank near the bottom in a lot of key defensive categories, and Chicago's shown signs of momentum over the past 3 weeks. I expect that to continue, obviously. Saints do boast a tough run D. Not a big deal to me. I think much like Buffalo and Arizona, I think the Bears will find some success. Much like Monday night, they're going to pound the rock to control the tempo, to set up the pass, get some explosive plays through this pass game, establish that run, open up your opportunities downfield. I think those two things are going to happen. The Saints secondary has been prone to explosive plays. I think I looked up earlier. I think they've given up 7 explosive plays in their secondary.
Their secondary is their weak link.
It was right around there. But yes, I think the Bears will continue this momentum. They will get win number 4. I got the Bears 27, the Saints 17.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there, Sean. Real quick, Foster Cliff says if the Bears play a clean game, it will not be close. I agree with you 100%. Foster says Pack have drafted 9 receivers in 3 years, and it seems like none of them are really working out. I do think Matthew Golden's going to be pretty good, though. Matthew Golden's been open a bunch this year. Jordan Love's just missed him. Sean Foster follow, and Sean, we already know what you're going to say, so you don't have to answer this question. But Foster says Golden or Burden, who are you taking? Yeah, I'm taking Luther Burden all day. I think Luther Burden has potential to be one of the best. Yeah, relentless Mikey in the house. Mikey,
I don't have anything against. Listen, I don't have anything against Matthew Golden. I think Matthew Golden might turn out to be a little bit better than I thought he was going to be coming out of Texas. But I think Luther Burden is going to be unbelievable once he establishes himself in this league. I firmly believe the Bears drafted a superstar in Luther Burden. I really, really do.
Yeah, Relentless Mikey says Golden has laid some eggs. Yeah, he's definitely had some poor games, but I think that's just a product of him getting involved in the offense and getting comfortable in the NFL. I think he is going to get better. I like Matt. I wouldn't be upset if the Bears had Matthew Golden on the roster. I wouldn't. I think he's going to end up being a pretty good player. Squeegee says Burden, the way they are making him earn his spot makes him even more dangerous. I'm going to do my score prediction here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Bears. I think the Bears will score early and often, and I think they'll slow down in the second half. They'll start to run out the clock a little bit. So I'm not going to go crazy and say 45 or anything like that. And I know that's like everything opposite of what Ben Johnson ever has been and wants to be, because I know he runs scores up. But I think the Bears will beat the Saints on Sunday at noon, and I think they're going to beat them 31-13. I don't think the Saints do much scoring in this one, guys.
31-13. I think I got the lowest score of everybody here, man. I'm pretty sure I do. I have the Bears scoring the least amount of points of everybody on the show, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm all right with it.
If Foster Cover says if DJ's out, Burden will become a burden for the Saints on Sunday.
Oh my God!
Yeah, 100%. I would. Relentless Mikey says 20-17 Bears. Saints are no slouch.
20-17.
Relentless says Mikey's got the closest of everybody in the chat, I believe. Right?
Yeah, well, Mikey, you just went below me, man. I was 27-17, and I was the lowest. We have the same amount for the Saints. Just you got the Bears a few notches under me, and I agree with you.
I think this Bears defense is going to continue to get better, and I think they're going to continue to take the ball away. And if there's one team you can take the ball away from, it's the Saints, because you're going to force them into throwing the ball. And I think they eventually. And I know he only has 1 interception on the season, but he hasn't played an opportunistic defense like the Chicago Bears. They got 11 takeaways in the last 3 games, guys. That's that. They're on. They keep doing what they're doing. They're going to break records. Squeegee says when Burden catches the balls, DB's eyes go wide from fear. Yeah, he is. And, when he was drafted, somebody put this in the comment earlier, he said he's going to make everybody pay who didn't draft him. And I believe him 100% because he's that guy, man. And if DJ, it sucks to see DJ Moore hurt. I don't ever want to see that. And obviously, guys, something weird's going on with DJ's injury because he injured his groin. That's what they're coming out and saying. And when asked about it, Ben Johnson said, that's pretty personal to DJ Moore. So something.
Yeah, it's like really weird situation.
Yeah, like testicular torsion, something happened down there that they're not going to talk about because I'm assuming it's like borderline embarrassing. I think that's why he said it's personal to DJ Moore. So I'm not going to speculate, but I have a feeling, and you saw that play when he got hit, he immediately grabbed his groin. You saw it. I mean, it's on the sideline there. Testament to DJ Moore and who he is for finishing that game in pain. But
I was going to say he had a key block on that last run by DJ Moore too to open that hole. So whatever he was dealing with, that's why always and forever, no matter what happens, guys, if he gets traded or he's not here anymore, he's always going to have a special place in my heart. I love you, DJ Moore, and I wish you a speedy recovery for whatever's wrong with you, buddy. Love that. I love DJ Moore. I love them in Carolina. When he came to the Bears, I was really excited. But
Yeah, he serves a purpose, man. He does.
yeah.
Then Relentless Mikey says, "Yeah, but Kyle, they played the Patriots hard, and Drake May has been a stud." Yeah, listen, I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility that the Saints keep this game close. I just that Sean said the Saints on the road this year in 2 games have given up 75 points. I think they're a much worse team on the road than they are at
Yeah.
home. I think this is the Bears kind of statement game to the NFL. Like, hey, listen, we may not be the best team in the NFL, but you bring that dog shit in here, the Spencer Rattlers of the world, and we're going to beat the shit out of them. And I think they're going to. And use condoms says the Bears are second last rush defense entering this week. Do you think that's more on the players or the
Personnel.
coaches? I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a work in progress. The Bears are never going to be number one in the NFL at stopping the run, but I think the more comfortable Dennis Allen becomes with this personnel, the more he is going to get more out of these guys, and they're not going to be given. You guys, I think they get Sean. What did they give up against Washington? 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, I think it was 4.2, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
and if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels' 5.2
Yeah.
yards per rush, and Jaden Daniels is going to do that to everybody, guys. That's who he is. If it wasn't for his 5.2 yards per rush, the Bears' run defense, no, it's 31 carries for 124 yards.
It was 4 even.
4 yards per
Four
carry.
even.
Yeah, I mean, if they do that for the rest of the season, they continue to be successful on third downs and continue to take the ball away, the Bears' defense is going to get a lot better. They're going to be ranked somewhere in the middle of the pack. So
And honestly,
don't give up on them just yet, guys.
I was going to say, honestly, if you take that 118-yard play away from Jaden Daniels, his day was just okay too. It wasn't spectacular. He had that one explosive, and that was it. I mean, the Bears really limited. I mean, run plays, they say explosives are over 10 yards. So I guess Krusky Merritt had an 11-yard run, but it didn't look like an explosive play to me.
Yeah, and Sean, we got a new joiner here. What's up, Buddha Lotus? Thanks for joining the show, man. He says if Burden would have went left on that double move, that was a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, Burden's also probably still getting used to the NFL and the speed, man. I like what Burden did, but I only expect him to get better. I agree with you, Buddha. I think as time goes on, he's going to start finding the right path, and he's going to start scoring touchdowns. Vizzo Joe says the Bills held Bill to 60 yards. Yeah, and not only did they held Bill to 60 yards, they forced Ja'Cory Krusky-Merritt to fumble too, and that will lose you playing time in the NFL real quick. My Brujas says my theory is we go up early, Saints get baited into mistakes, and we get a defensive score. That's what I think. I think they're gonna.
All right, I'm starting the Bears defense this weekend because of you, Bruja.
Sean, I added the Bears defense in Burnens League. Damn right. That's damn right. I'm sorry, you guys. A lot of people like him. Me personally, I'm not a huge Spencer Rattler believer. I think he's just kind of an Alex Smith type quarterback. And then Cliff says Buddha could be where they could have grabbed him. I like his creativity. Sean, Cliff also has a theory on DJ Moore here.
What is that? Where I missed it? Oh.
So he says, I think his jewel's really swollen. A doctor took one look at him and said, hospital. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, it's very strange that they're not giving details. So I'm assuming it's something that people would consider inappropriate or disgusting. I bet you he has a swollen testicle or something like that. If I was a betting man, I'd say something along those lines. But I mean, they're talking about him maybe playing this week, so it's nothing to be like super concerned about.
I'm gonna say I doubt it.
I doubt it too. I
would give him.
I wouldn't play him. Like, why?
I would not either.
You're playing the Saints, bro. like
if it was the Packers or something, I'd be like, giddy up, get him on the field. But it's not. So
just stick a syringe in that testicle and let's go.
Yeah, and we did notice Jason will be back next week. I forgot to say at the top of the show, he's in Disney. He'll be back with us next week.
Yeah, Buddha, bear it down, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thanks for coming
Sean,
in.
let's give him a round of applause for Buddha, man.
Oh yeah,
you,
Buddha.
You're the man. Thanks for joining us.
Hold on, that was weak. I don't know what's going on. There we go. It's getting a little better.
Please hit that subscribe button. Cliff, I'm glad you brought this up because, Sean, I wanted to talk to you about something I totally forgot about. He says, I'm hoping Stevenson has settled down after the Washington win and steps up his game. Sean, did you see the beginning of the game where Stevenson's on the field warming up?
I did not. I was running around selling tickets.
There's Washington personnel. They're like security guys, or I don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're in button-up shirts, Washington shirts on the sideline. And they're like, "Oh, Stevenson, thanks for the win. You suck. Thanks for handing us the win last year." And they're just ragging on him, talking shit to him. And Stevenson walks up to all of them and is like, "Hey, nice to meet you guys," and shakes all three of their hands and walks back onto the field. Like, he seems like a really nice guy, dude. Like, because there's players in the NFL who would walk up to those guys and would not be shaking their hands, but it didn't bother him.
Discipline's being instilled in Chicago.
It did not bother him in any way, shape, or form, and that's good to see out of Stevenson, because I think part of Stevenson's problem early in his career was the fact that he just couldn't get out of his own way. Visitor Joe says, knowing DJ, he's going to want to play, especially during this winning streak. He hasn't had many. It's gonna be, you're gonna be hard pressed to DJ.
And thanks for that, Bruja. I forgot all about that. I really did. I really, really did.
Oh, Sean, this has been brought up in the chat all day here. People have been talking about how Caleb's already in Spencer's head because he replaced him in Oklahoma, and he never gave up that job. It relinquished that job to Spencer Rattler again. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I think somebody put it in the chat, but I think they were down by like 3 touchdowns when Caleb Williams came in that game, and he found a way to win that game for them. And he had some spectacular throws in that game too. But yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams is a baller for sure, and I expect him to take advantage of a very porous secondary in the New Orleans Saints, and I think he's going to score 2 or 3 touchdowns in this game. I think this is going to be one of those games, Sean, that helps pad Caleb Williams' stats, and he's going to get closer to that 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
I'm glad you brought that up, Kyle, because as we sit here today, he would need 236 yards passing per game to break 4,000. Yeah. I think it puts him at like 4,006, 4,007.
So if you can throw 290 in this game and a couple touchdowns, he's well on his way, man.
Yeah. He's getting there. He's getting there. Hey, Cliff, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, we appreciate Cliff. It. It's always nice to have you back, man.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
T, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? T just joined the show. He says,
big time matchup for your boys. NFC home field advantage could be on the line this early in the season between Tampa Bay and the Lions on Monday Night Football.
Hi, Sean. And then Relentless Mike, he says, I want to thank you guys, the guys of 4-Star Chicago Sports, for their hospitality Monday night. Glad I left after the third because we won. Thank you. Relentless, thanks for showing up, Mikey. We appreciate you, brother. It's so awesome to meet, put faces to these names. You know, I've only seen Mikey through his Facebook profile or whatever, these chats. So he's a big dude. When he walked in, Mikey, I didn't know that was you. Like I looked at him and I'm like, I think that's Mikey. But he didn't say anything. He just kept standing there. And then when you walked up, Sean, and you were like, Relentless Mikey? I'm like, I was thinking the same shit.
Man, Mikey, we really did appreciate you coming out, man. It was a great time. It was a great
the contributions, man, everything. It was awesome. It was great having a guy. It sucks, guy. I didn't get much of a chance to talk to anybody there because, yeah, that's what I said to Mikey. I said, I thought you'd be shorter because he's a tall dude. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody because obviously we were much busier than we expected, which is a good thing. But I spent most of that Bears game working, guys. So I had to go rewatch it at home after I got home. But that's okay. It was all for charity. We raised almost $400 for charity. So it was a smashing success, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. Thanks again to Mikey for showing up. Sean T says the Bears are looking good. I think that might be one of the first times T's ever said something positive about us.
I'll say this, T. We're getting there, but we're still a work in progress. I'm happy to be winning as we develop.
It's nice to have a tomato can at home. You know,
yeah.
like
and you want to know the truth. And here, man, I hope Bears fans don't get pissed when I say this. I think that the Bears still may get smoked against upper echelon teams in the league. I don't think they're like that.
I think the more Ben Johnson gets his fingerprints on this roster, Sean, I think they're going to be competitive in every single game. And I expect Sean, and we in the years past, as scarred Bears fans, we expect them to play to their competition, right? So we're like, oh man, this Saints game might be close because it's the Bears. But
that's true too.
With Ben Johnson, I think it's just a different Bears. I don't think Ben Johnson.
Here, you know what? I know
the Saints. They're gonna win.
I know everyone's going around here and thinking that Baltimore isn't Baltimore, but Lamar Jackson's going to be returning after this bye, and the Bears better dot their I's and cross their T's because that game could still get out of hand.
Sean, you're going to love my score prediction for that game. 50-58. That Baltimore
I mean, the defensive side of the ball for the Ravens is banged up as could be, and there's nothing they can do about it.
And they weren't good before they got banged up, guys. They weren't good before they got banged. The first week of the season when they were all healthy, they allowed the Bills to score 43 points or something like that to win the game. The Ravens
that's next Sunday. Oh boy.
Isn't it crazy, Sean, how fast defenses in the NFL get old? It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's the snap of a finger,
And
man.
running backs.
It's the snap of a finger. It's like defenses get old so fast. You could have one of the best defenses in the NFL one year, and the very next year they're allowing 40 points a game. It's crazy.
I will tell you this. I do agree. I think the Bears will be in most of these games. We'll see. I know everyone's counting out Philadelphia, and not a lot of people are talking about them. They look like crap, but I remember specifically 6 weeks into the season last year, people were calling for what's their coach, Sirianni? They were calling for his job, and all of a sudden they win the gosh darn Super Bowl. That's still a really talented team on both sides of the football. So I wouldn't count them out yet.
Thanks, Bruja. Appreciate you, man. Have a good
You know
night.
what? Thanks, Brew. They're kind of like the Dodgers. That's the way I feel about the Eagles. They're going to take it easy in the regular season.
Tom Brady,
and they're
man.
gonna
Don't count him
ratchet
out.
up.
Don't
No?
count championship caliber teams
no,
out.
they're
People
gonna
were
ratchet
ragging on the Dodgers all year, and I kept saying on the Northside 9 podcast, you
Yeah.
guys, they're still the Dodgers. They have that championship caliber. They've been there before. They know how the playoffs work, and they're gonna all their guys are somehow magically gonna become healthy right before the playoffs, and that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Now look at the Dodgers. Their worst player this playoffs has been Ohtani, and they're steamrolling everybody. Ohtani hasn't even been good in their
You want
they
you
shit
wanna
on
know-
everyone.
Not to get too far off topic, but you know what was really impressive about them beating the Phillies? They hit like 100. I think they were 5 for 29 with runners in scoring position. They hit as a team 199 and still made it look really easy versus Philadelphia, which is pretty freaking scary. That's why I was laughing at all the Brewers fans on Twitter that were like, "Oh, Brewers in 6." I was like, "You guys are nuts."
Yeah, you guys hang in there because Sean and I too for our season recap show on the North Side 9, and we'll move on back to the Bears here, but we're gonna have a special guest breaking down the season recap for you guys. And I'm telling you guys,
quick.
when it comes to Cubs brains, this is one show you guys are gonna want to tune in for because he is not dumb. Sean T, the Lions fan, says, take it from someone who knows. You beat the teams in their schedule if they weak. So what? A win is a win. I agree with you 100%.
I agree.
There's no excuses, guys. In the NFL, where there's only 17 games in the season, I don't give a shit if you win on a blocked field goal. I don't give it. A win is a win, and you beat the tomato cans. That's what in the NFL.
Very
You
tough
have to
to
beat
win
the
in this
teams in
league.
which you have a better roster. You have to.
You know what? It's very tough to win in any professional sport because you're playing the 3% of the best players in the world. Like, and here, the worst football team, the worst NFL team is still better than any other NFL team or any other football team around the
Yeah,
world.
Sean, I think if you took the worst NFL team, so let's just call it the Saints or the Browns right now, right? And they played the college all-star team, they would beat the shit out of them.
I do believe
They would
that.
beat the
I do
shit
believe
out of
that.
them.
I do believe that 100%. I really do. Do we want to get into this pick 6 for the week?
Yeah, let's do it. We got everybody in the chat here before anybody else leaves. Let's start doing some of these pick sixes. So, Sean, you don't have the records, do you?
I did not update them all. I updated the people who have been doing it weekly. Hopefully, we can get some other people to get in here weekly. Dustin crapped out after 1 week with Jay. You and I are tied now. Bruce is trailing behind. Mikey needs to pick it up a little bit this week. If some of y'all are in the chat, jump on in here. We're going to go off percentage. And
yeah, so guys, Kyle's not 18 and 30. I'm 18 for 30. Sean's 18
Correct.
for 30. Jay's 16 for 30. Mikey's 11 for 24. But all right, Sean, give us the docket. Let's hear it, man.
well, let's
Go.
start off.
We already all picked the Bears, right? Nobody picked this.
Yeah, so we got 5 games. Do we want to go NFC North? We got the Eagles visiting the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah,
on
let's do that game. That's a good
Sunday.
one. Good
It
one.
is the Vikings are 3-point dogs at home. I'm going to go Philadelphia. Philly's got to bounce back here at some point. They can't be this bad.
I'm gonna go Eagles as well. Breaking news: Bruce is going to Eagles. Please, Eagles. Knock Relentless Mikey's going to Eagles. Please, Eagles, knock the Vikings off. Please, for the love of God and all those holy. I'm so sick of the
Yeah,
Vikings.
we need. I'm going Philly.
Yeah, Mikey,
Anyone else jump in? Let me know.
Breaking news,
I'll get him down.
Real quick, Sean. T's out on his way out. Thanks a lot for joining the show. T, he says,
Hey, man.
before I go,
Thanks,
congratulations. You guys are looking good. Go ahead. I'll see you guys later. Please win. So when we beat you, it will be so much better. Go along. Love you, T. We appreciate you. And Sean, T took the Eagles as well.
He's
Man.
got the Philly. You want to stick around for a couple minutes, T? We're going to blow through these really quick. We have Green Bay visiting Arizona.
I'm going Packers.
This isn't going to be popular. I'm going to sacrifice one here. I'm taking Arizona.
Sean, who's Arizona's quarterback?
If it's going to be Jacoby Brissett again, I love what he did this weekend. Now, hopefully Marvin Harrison Jr. is back, but the Packers are not the same team on the road as they
Yeah,
are.
I'm going to go with the Packers. I just think their defense is too much for the Cardinals team to handle. But I Sean, if I'm wrong, I'll be the happiest person on the planet.
Yeah.
Relentless Mikey says Packers. Breaking news, Bruce.
Packers.
Okay.
Sean, T's going. He's with you, man.
I love it. Hey,
And
T.
then Ron's prediction is fuck Green Bay.
All right, we got Ron for AZ. We got an intriguing matchup, T. We're doing this Monday Night Football, Detroit and Tampa freaking Bay. I wish Tampa was a little bit healthier, but Detroit's not healthy either, and Tampa still has Baker Mayfield. This should be a fantastic 6:00 kickoff from the Motor City. Who you got there, Kyle?
I'm going with Detroit, man. Tampa's run defense is ranked 24th in the NFL right now. Nobody's better running the ball than the Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
I'm going Lions, man. Squeegee also came in and said fuck Green Bay as well. Just so you know.
I know T's taking Detroit. I don't have to wait for that one.
Yeah, no, you could write that one down.
Ooh,
Sean,
that'd be
Relentless
fun.
Mikey's got Tampa Bay.
Buccaneers.
Bruce
Bruce
has
is going
Tampa
TV
Bay.
too. I was gonna go. I really want to go Tampa Bay because I just love Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
So do I, man. So do I.
Yeah.
In Detroit, and
Played his ass
Detroit
off.
coming off that loss, I can't see it. I wish I could, but I can't.
I think it's going to be a big day for Jahmyr Gibbs, guys. I think this is his breakout game of the season here because he's been pretty pedestrian for at least for his standards, he's been pretty pedestrian. I think Jahmyr Gibbs goes absolutely ape shit in this game.
We got 2 games left, and we got
Mhm.
2 1-point spreads here. Coin flips. We have Washington visiting Dallas. Who we got?
I'm Washington.
Washington. Yeah, Washington.
I'm going to go Washington too. I like Washington to bounce back.
I don't like Washington. I just don't like Dallas.
And Dallas's defense is atrocious, man.
Yeah, T finally put it in there. He said Detroit. Baker talks too much. Plus, we pissed because Kansas City sucks. Yeah, we knew where you were going, T. Relentless Mikey says Washington, and T picked Washington as well, Sean.
T, really quick, Bears or Saints. I'm going to put you down for the Bears. I don't think you're picking the Saints. And then the final one is Sunday Night Football. I don't know who's going to be healthy for the 49ers,
Yeah.
but they're only 1-point favorites right now over the Atlanta Falcons, which I find eerily weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the flying all the way across the country. I don't know.
I'm going Falcons.
I'm going Falcons too. I don't.
Oh,
I
Niners.
Yeah, well, Bruce. So we should figure that one for Bruce. I honestly don't know why Atlanta's an underdog. It's kind of
Did
weird.
you guys, the
Yeah.
Falcons defense, have you looked at the statistics? The Falcons defense is phenomenal. That turnaround in
Yeah.
1 year, they were one of the worst
Yeah.
defenses in the NFL last year. They're the number 2 against the run and like number 7 against the pass. The Falcons
Niners for
defense.
Mikey
Falcons
and
defense is
Niners got
legit.
all injuries. Must be
T's
tough.
got the Falcons, the Mikey's got the Niners.
All
Is that
right,
everybody?
Yeah, we got the pick 6.
Yeah, yeah.
This is our lowest participation. Six.
Yeah, come on, Erica.
Yeah, Eric.
Where is
yeah.
everybody? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Dustin. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually think those games will be fun. I got Bijan Robinson, so I'm probably going to need him to win since the rest of my team in that league is beat up. Dude, I can't believe in that league how many injuries I actually do have, and the fact that I'm 5-1.
What leagues are you trying to add Luther Burden?
I'm not going to be adding him. I have him in my touchdown league. I'm not going to. I can't add him in boobs because I have to add a quarterback, and I really have nobody else to drop. And in your league, I think he's already picked up.
Sean drafted him. He never dropped him.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I was thinking about it in boobs, but I started looking at my roster, and I'm like, oh, who am I going to drop? Anyone I drop is going to get picked up immediately. So I'm like,
Yeah, I got a little bit of fab in on him. Hopefully, I can.
the
get
only
him.
person I can
Any other
drop in
receiver.
boost, Kyle, is Tyquan Thornton, and I'm dropping him for an unnamed quarterback at this moment.
Yeah. Taekwon Thornton is now that Rashee Rice is back. It's going to be hard for him to find playing time, man. I think they like Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice a lot, so probably not a bad move, Sean.
I was going to say, here's my bench: Jordan Mason, Condre Miller, Zay Flowers, Marvin Harrison, Sam Laporta, Ricky Pearsall. Who am I dropping for Luther Burden?
Yeah, I mean it's either Kendrick Miller or yeah, I wouldn't drop anybody. All right, anything else you want to get to, Sean, before we clean this thing up here?
No, man. I'm just very.
No.
I just want to say I'm very happy for the Chicago Bears. I'm very happy for the Bears fans. I really want to thank everybody. We're going to throw this quick video. Turn your volume down a little bit. It's a little high. But,
you guys, real quick,
yeah.
special shout out to Lindsay, our social media expert.
Yeah.
She's the one who she put this video together
put this
for us.
together
She
really
was
quick
she
for
was at
us.
the live show. She did a
Yes.
lot for us. So enjoy it, guys.
Hey, I'm a hot girl yelling. Bring 'em out, all the dope boys yelling. Bring 'em out, front to back, they yelling. Bring 'em out, to get with other southern rapper hooded than this. I got rich and I'm still in a hooligan clique. You be rapping by blow, I don't move in the brick. Talk about shooting out, now we're doing it quick. If I hit you in the face, you gon' be suing me quick. If I catch another case, I know it truly be missed. So I'ma keep a cool head, stay out of the news headlines, and show these other rappers it's bedtime. It's clear to see that I'm ahead of my time. I cop the chromed out, hard top career with a shine. I got some time, they ain't nothing, I get better with time. Who got a flow and a live show better than mine? I got a packed house yelling, bring 'em out, I'm a hot girl yelling, bring 'em out, all the dope boys yelling, bring 'em out, front to back, they yelling, bring 'em out, mic check, 1 2 1 2. You wanna beef with the king? What is you gon' do when you show up on the scene with the 2 guns drew on you and your friend and play a little 2 on 2? If you do half of what I do, you'll be hitting the deck. I got a tool and a vest, I can get some respect. I'ma make it hard for another sucker to flex. Show 'em this ain't the squad for a sucker to the chest. You wanna be better, bring your best, cause we be standing in your front yard yelling, bring 'em out, I'm a hot girl yelling, bring 'em out, all the dope boys yelling, bring 'em out, front to back, they yelling, bring 'em out, front yard yelling, bring 'em out, I'm a hot girl yelling, bring 'em out, all the dope boys yelling, bring 'em out, front to back, they yelling, bring 'em out,
That was an amazing time. And, we're going to
Yeah,
get something together again here,
Yeah.
boys. I'm
That was
trying to look
awesome.
for a noon game to do here. The noon games are just really, really difficult. I don't know about the day.
Shannon has joined the show, man. Never seen this name before. What's up, Shannon? How you doing, man? He says
Shannon.
this game. Yeah, it would certainly be a lot better going in against Baltimore at 4-2 than 3.
100%. We're going to need to keep pace.
Thanks for joining the show, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. And, thanks everybody who hung out with us tonight for a little while. It's getting a little bit past my bedtime. I'm the old part of the group, so. But you know, before we check it out, man.
Good, better, bad. Never let it rain. Never let it rain. You're gonna get better. You're gonna get better. You better get better. You better get better. Bears on 3. 1 2 3.
God, I'm gonna enjoy it for years to come. I really am. Hey, everybody.
He is motivating me.
Yes.
Everybody,
I love
don't
him.
forget tomorrow night, Dustin and Brandon will be back on the bare minimum. They will be rocking the late night show. And again, if you can't stay up and burn the midnight oil with them, check them out on your way to work, drink your coffee, enjoy the show. I'm not sure about the Northside 9 this Saturday. I'm trying to get a hold of our special guest. If we do, we'll blast it out. I'm going to hopefully get on that by tomorrow. Find that we'll be up by noon. But if not, it'll be the following week, and we'll wrap up the 2025 Chicago Cup season. Lots of good stuff. Chad Hoyer had his exit interview today. He answered a lot of questions. They are more vague than anything. But go check that out. It's
he's going to end up on Who You Crapping.
yeah. You know what? I mean, there's some big things facing the Cubs, dude. Do you pick up Shota's contract at 32? Are they going to re-sign Kyle Tucker? If they don't, what are they going to do to fill that void?
Is Kyle Schwarber, Cody Bellinger, Peter Alonso an option?
There's so much
to talk about.
And here, I'll go on record. I'll go on record and say I am one of the fans
Thanks, T.
that wants Kyle Tucker back.
Thanks, T.
I do. If people can
It's
remember
not for $600 million.
well, listen, people can remember how we closed out the season, but you remember when the Cubs were scoring 6 runs a game? He was the engine that was running that offense. If you get him healthy for a full year and stack him up in this lineup, the Cubs offense is going to hum. He is a superstar no matter what. I would like him back. If he doesn't come back, you replace him with something close. I'm okay with that too. But if you don't re-sign him, you just can't not do anything. That's my whole thing.
I agree 100%.
Yes.
So,
Thank you very much, guys.
Yep.
Please continue to
So-
check out all the shows. You got the Bare Minimum, the North Side 9,
Yep.
House Hall Hangover, and then obviously here at the Barely There podcast. So
Yeah.
we appreciate all you guys. Thank you
Yep.
so much, Relentless. Thanks for showing up to the show. Lindsay, thanks for all the hard work. We
Yep.
appreciate you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bruce,
Yep,
as
yep.
always, love you, man. Sean,
Pleasure. My pleasure.
bear down.
Bear down.
prepare
Bear down.
yourselves.